Can they see it?
They can now.
Can it? Check it out.
How do you like that leg? Showing a little leg. Sex sells, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, sex sells. Damn it. I don't know about this, but
what's
you know.
going on, ladies and gents? Now we're here for T3G along with
Harris.
And today is our Tech Monday. We didn't forget about you guys. We are not skipping a day again. This is what's going to be known as how we make up for not having edited a video ahead of time. So,
well, we've had some.
We had a hang up on the Ryzen build, which you guys are seeing behind us. That's a little preview for you.
We had to figure all that out. And
say shake. I didn't shake it.
I always shake, but whatever.
Chilled or over ice, refrigerate. Okay, not shake.
So there's that. I still have the video card video that I want to do, but that's gonna be a big like bigger edit than a lot of the other stuff.
Right.
And it's been a busy.
You have the chat up.
Well, it's been a busy weekend. So
we shot a wedding.
So
we shot a car event. We went to a Comic-Con that same night, and then went to a different car event that same night.
We sure did.
Yeah. Yesterday was a big day. That was the wedding was Saturday. Yesterday was the rest of it.
Big Smoke, what's going on, Big Smoke?
What's up, Big Smoke? We're talking new tech. Now, how do you feel about the Threadripper? Big Smoke brought this up last time. The Threadripper, let's pull that up. I don't know what the Threadripper is realistically. I'll be honest, the things I don't know.
Threadripper is the holy shit CPU from AMD. It's supposed to have
he apologizes for that language.
The best one, from what I understand, is insanity.
Yes, I use Bing, ladies and gents, because it gives me points.
The best one, from what I understand, is 16 cores and 32 threads,
and it is the size of a man's hand.
And it's huge.
Yeah.
It is a big CPU, but here's what's cool about it. The 16-core, 32-thread is supposed to be 4 gigahertz, which is insanity. And it's supposed to be like $800 or something.
16-core, 32-thread, 3.4 gigahertz.
Oh, are they saying 3.4 now?
Yep, 12-core, 24-thread, 3.5 gigahertz, which doesn't make sense to me.
So is it 10-core that's going to be at 4 then?
Apparently, those are the only two that they. Those are the only two. There was a
1900.
Those are the only two that they've given.
And I think that's Intel's.
That's the Intel comparison.
Which look at that, they're $1,836.
$2,000.
That's 2 computers.
Dude, I might on the best day of my life shell out that $242 for that i5. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, so
it only supports 2 channels.
So Big
DDR.
Smoke said for Intel's basic i9, you can get the top Threadripper from AMD, and that's correct. Yeah, I mean Intel's pricing is insane, and I'm hoping they get that under control.
Here's the comparison, right? So hold on, that's whoa. Right? Come on, terrible website. Okay, so that's the full size picture.
Not anymore, it's not.
Oh,
there it is.
Goodness. So, these numbers are really hard to see, but CPU 2431 versus 2167. I mean, better score is a better score.
Better score is a better score, and I don't think the 1920 is the best Threadripper, so which means it can do more.
That's a little preview. What's next? But yeah, so we're talking upcoming tech. My wife is calling me. Let's answer her. You're live on T3G.
You're live on the internet.
You're live on the internet. How can we help you? Yeah, I was gonna see if you were on the way home to stop at Binny's because I just really wanted some not your father's. But it sounds like you're not on your way home. We can get it from Jewel Osco.
Excellent.
And they're open late.
Excellent.
So, okay, cool. Thank you. Bye.
But the top Threadripper is 1950X. That's, yeah.
Okay, so we're talking upcoming tech. We're talking some of the tech that's already been revealed, some of the tech that's already planned, some of the tech, just like stuff that's coming up. And that's the first thing that came up because Big Smoke brought it up in a stream last week.
Yeah.
And I wanted your opinion on the pricing. At $1,000, do you think, granted, it is a ridiculously powerful CPU, ridiculously powerful, but to start your build at $1,000...
Here's the thing. First of all, you don't pick up the Threadripper if you're a gamer, okay? You pick up the Threadripper if you're doing everything. If you're editing, you're streaming all on one computer. You're
So it's never going to be for me.
Right.
I have separate computers for separate things.
Exactly.
You know this.
Here's the thing. I will never pay $1,000 for a CPU.
So what you're saying is
And
you're going to wait for round 2, buy the last one at half price.
And I will never pay $1,000 for a GPU, mainly because they can't tell me that this CPU is worth this much because that's how much it took to make this CPU when it didn't. It didn't cost more to develop.
But the technology's involved in developing that.
But it doesn't matter. The 10 core, I guarantee you, the 10 core is not just like between the 1700X, that's $350, and then the 1800X is $500. It's the same CPU. Everybody will tell you this. It's the same CPU. They just clocked it higher. That's it. Why is it worth $150 more?
But what does that actually mean? What does it mean to be clocked higher?
Nothing. It just means they gave you a faster frequency. They gave you 3.8 gigahertz versus 3.6.
Right. But do you understand like the technology necessary to do that?
But it's
not like they turned a dial.
That's exactly what it is. I just told you. Everybody's saying it. It's the same CPU. All they did is out of the factory, you get 200 more megahertz. Same CPU. It's not like it's a different CPU. It's not like it was a different manufacturing or a different die being used. Same CPU. They just gave you... They just found a batch that was better, and they were like, here, out of the factory, 3.8 instead of 3.6. You don't have to... Like, it doesn't cost more. So why is it?
So you're telling me the production
more?
process for a faster processor is the same exact amount. I'm out of the frame. Damn it. The same processor is...
I understand that, Big Smoke. He said manufacturing, labor, materials. That's fine, but the CPU itself, at the end of the day, is not $1,000. Like if they're selling the same CPU for 2 different prices, it's not the same guys. Drew B.
What up, Drew B?
Drew B says, "I love you guys. We love you too, Drew B.
We love you too, Drew B."
So it's not. I will never pay those kind of money. So for me, if I was to do anything, I'd probably do the 10 core, which would be because there is supposed to be a 10 core, which I'm guessing if the 12 core is 800 and then the next one's like $200 more, so maybe $600.
Yeah, $599.
I'd pay $600.
I would not. I'll be honest with you.
And that's
unless I had money to blow, because we're talking $600 for the processor. Now you're talking another $200 for just 16
but
gigs
the
of
only
RAM.
reason I would pay for it is because I do everything. I mean, I do have two systems,
right?
So there is that,
and you'd be building a third one with this because none of the other stuff is compatible.
And then if that goes up, I mean, if that comes out and it's $600, who's to say that the 8-core CPU that's the 1900 or the 1800X doesn't drop down in price? Then do I really need 2 more cores? If the 1800X is already, let's say, rendering out 4K in under the...
Right, but what I'm saying is, so even let's say, because how much is the 1800?
$500.
Okay, so it's $500. Let's say it goes down to 300.
Right.
That to me is, I'm gonna say a reason.
I don't think you'll see it at 300 though. I think at best you might see it at 4, maybe 350 if they really drop all of them down. Because I mean the 1700X is 350 and it's the same CPU.
Gotcha. Okay, so I mean let's say it's $400.
Right.
So. But then why wouldn't you just get the 1700X? What's the difference? The 0.2
gigahertz. So that way you don't have to do it when you put it in the motherboard and go inside the BIOS to overclock it.
So it's like it's literally the 8320 versus the 8350.
Yeah, it was the same CPU.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
But I mean, granted, there are people who don't want to do that. I don't want to mess with overclocking.
Yeah, don't.
Because you can blow your shit up.
Yeah, people don't want to mess with that and do it right and
yeah.
all that crap.
I mean, there is value in convenience. I'm 33 years old. I decided this last year. My wife said I'm doing Shamrock Shuffle. I said, cool. Let's find parking. She's like, well, there's free parking like 4 or 5 blocks away, and I was like, I don't want to walk 5 blocks at 8 in the morning.
Right.
I'm gonna pay $30 to park right under the damn race.
Yeah.
Like that's the way we're going. So yeah, there's something to be said for convenience. Whoa.
I just wanted to double check.
Oh, sure.
I wanted to make sure everything was.
We can actually successful. I can't speak.
Successful. Yeah. All right. Well, we're back.
We're back. My internet does this thing where it just disconnects sometimes, but we're still here. So we're talking upcoming tech. We're having a discussion on the AMD Ryzen Threadripper, and its $1,000 price tag at the high end. And I'm trying to see if there is a there we go, CPU benchmark single thread. I'm trying to see this 1700, which is the bottom Ryzen.
Well, it's not the bottom Ryzen, but it's the bottom Ryzen 7
series. Okay.
Series, yeah.
And I'm looking at it versus the 8350, which to my knowledge is the highest or second highest.
Well, the
FX series.
8370 was but it was the same processor.
Sure. So looking at
or 8370 if I said 87.
Ryzen 7 Pro 1700X 2047.
That's 1700X.
8350. 8350B. Oh, that's the A4. 83 8-core 1507. Sheesh. Yeah, that's a significant difference.
Yeah, there's a significant, absolutely. I mean, listen, there was
so there is an inherent value in upgrading from our systems to Ryzen.
Absolutely. 100%.
What is the value? So is there? I mean, let's see. I want to see the.
Well, don't look at single core. If you're going to look at, you might not see
1920 versus 1700.
Yeah.
So half a gigahertz. 4 gigahertz turbo on a single core. That's what you're looking at.
Yeah, so that's...
turbo all cores 3.6, 12 versus 8, higher cache on L1. Wow, it doesn't have any other... I mean, granted, that's the video stuff because it's not included.
And that's the other big thing, memory channels. The Threadripper is going to have 4-channel memory where the...
Right.
The regular Ryzen's only on 2 still, which is weird that they chose that, but I guess that's to be, kind of
so
give
you
you a
only have
reasoning to pay more money.
2-channel memory, so what would you end up with 4-channel memories? Just bigger sticks or what?
More slots.
More slots?
More slots.
Sheesh.
Well, the Intel ones have 4 slots on each side of the CPU.
Oh, get out of here.
For the 2011 socket.
Dang.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could run out like 128 gig memory.
So same chip, the same architecture, the 14 nanometer.
Right. Now, obviously, there's going to be a...
Socket TR4.
Yeah, whatever.
Dang, the wattage, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's going to be definitely a difference in wattage, but I mean...
Damn. Dude, 65 versus 180.
Yeah.
180 is like Pentium 4.
Yeah, but you're also looking at huge differences in cores and PCIe
Sure,
and stuff
but
like that.
I mean, what's the 8350 wattage? Which they actually found it.
It's 120, I believe.
$95 to $160, or is that 180?
I can't remember.
Stock speed overclocked, so stock speed is 95.
Okay.
Dang. I mean, granted, power. If it's running all day, though, that'll rack up quick.
Well, that's also...
It'll rack up your electric bill quick.
Yeah, right.
But anyway.
Big Smoke says he wants those purple boards, right? It's my color. It's my color right there.
That is a nice looking board. Was it Bit Tech? I've never heard of these guys. Let's see what we got. Modding? Oh, they're modders. Okay, so they're probably custom painted.
Yeah, they're custom painted. Maybe MSI or...
Anyway.
Regardless.
Regardless.
So, I mean, I wouldn't pay the money because that's just me. I think at worst comes to worst, I'd pay at max maybe $500-600 for a CPU.
I don't think I'd cross
and that's like assuming that it's giving me a huge convenience in how fast I render out videos and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, that's the main thing for me.
If I'm building it for gaming,
but if we switch to HitFilm, because Premiere is, Premiere, and it does its Premiere thing every once in a while.
Right.
HitFilm renders out faster than real time, and I don't even know how.
Yeah, the only reason I haven't been using HitFilm is because it doesn't run that well on my system. I think due to the GPU, because every time I try to like fast forward through some things and stuff like that, and I just bought a bunch of
LUTs. LUTs. You bought LUTs.
Transitions. I bought a bunch of transitions for Adobe Premiere. So
they're not compatible with other stuff.
Not just only Adobe Premiere.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. That's like the trap, right? You get yourself invested into a architecture, into a framework that you're working with, and at some point you're like, man, I wish I could switch, but like I've got all this money put into it.
Yeah. I mean, but listen, regardless,
it's like cars; they're money pits.
With Ryzen, you can definitely render and be faster in real time. I don't know necessarily if that's true for 4K, but it's definitely true for 1080.
Well, we'll test it. We'll test it. Now, we're going to move on to our actual topics that we discussed ahead of time. That was literally just a last second.
Yeah, literally right when you started the stream.
Big Smoke showed up, and I was like, oh yeah, he brought that up. Let's talk.
Right.
So I have, as you may or may not know, the viewing audience, I'm trying to pick it up. I have a Pixel XL. Love my phone. Wish I'd gotten 128 gig because I keep running out of storage. But that's a decision I have to live with for the next year and a half.
Yep.
But there is the new Pixel XL2 rumors. Now these are just rumors. Hashtag rumors.
Hashtag rumors.
But there's a couple things I wanted to address as far as what this is looking like.
Sure.
So the big thing for me is it's still metal body. Now I added wireless charging to my LG G3.
Right.
Really useful, really convenient. I mean, like the Galaxy S3 right here that I use for my ARX control for the keyboard.
Right.
Still, it's wireless charging right now.
Right. I got you.
It's real convenient.
Right.
So when this didn't have wireless charging, I really didn't even have. We have hard cider in the mini fridge.
Sweet.
If you're interested.
Where's the mini fridge?
We'll talk about the email that I just got back.
Where's the mini fridge?
Right. Like, where's the mini fridge? I'm trying to get into this cider. Grab a beer for me too while I got it. So the thing that really kind of I miss is that wireless charging. But because this is a metal body, and I didn't really think about this ahead of time, metal body equals you can't wireless charge because metal is a conductor of electricity, and that could probably end in really bad situations. You all right there, Chief?
Yeah, I'm just looking. You got a few different ones.
Oh, okay. So I want to know, and let's see. Big Smoke, anybody? Hashtag rumors. Yeah, let's gossip. There's two things that I want to talk about on this new design. The screen is ridiculous. So this is a 5.5 inch screen. I did have a Galaxy Note 3, which had a 5.7 inch screen. So when I went to 5.5 on the LG G3, I felt the change because I grabbed my old Note 3 and I'm like, wow.
There's no beer in here, bro.
Whatever, just grab me something. I don't care as long as it's alcoholic.
Hard cider it is.
It's a hard cider. The screen is supposed to be a 6-inch screen, but it's curved corners, which is just a visual thing. And I found out that curved corners really do make things look nicer. Right. I got there's a bottle opener right there.
There sure is.
Oh boy. There's a computer here and everything. We're doing all the wrong things today. It's gonna crack in my face.
Break while you drink.
What do we got here? Angry Orchard Stone Dry. I think I follow the guy that draws the labels on DeviantArt.
Tasty.
Yeah, delicious. So I got a corner rounder for like printed stuff or paper, and took some of my bookmarks, and I just chopped off the corners, and they like made it look so much cooler and so much more polished. And I was like, damn, that does make shit look nicer. And when I saw this, and I was like, I get why they did it. It works with the curves of the phone and everything, but I don't know if I like it. Because I feel like you're taking, I mean, it's like minuscule amounts, but I feel like you're taking some of the screen from me. The actual LCD is not curved.
Right.
Like the LCD is still a square, a rectangle.
Here's the biggest thing. We talked to a friend yesterday, and he said, you know, at what point is it worth it, right? So to me, it's like if I'm gonna go with a new piece of equipment next year, right? Because let's be honest, most of this shit is every year. You got to make a significant change for me. And at this point, it's not a performance anymore. Because
it's not. The hardware change is so minute. Yeah, we're talking 1 to 3% increases. Yeah. And at this, I mean, at the phone level, it doesn't matter. 3% is nothing at this level. I'm not rendering video here.
Even at camera level, the cameras are so good that like you really can't get much better.
Now, here's the thing. Your phone is 3 years old?
Yeah, I would say.
So you've got a Note 4.
Note 4.
I think my camera is better than that.
Right.
But that's because it's 2.5 years newer. Yeah. So at least 2 generations of phones newer.
Right.
I feel like in 2 generations, but it's not.
But is it that big? Like, is it 2.5 years worth of technology?
The HDR is nice, and the slow-mo for the video is nice.
I mean, the slow-mo is nice, yeah, but
otherwise, like, visual quality,
that's what I'm saying.
No. But the HDR is nice. I get some really nice shots, even if I'm not 100% off.
Yeah, I got you.
So there are tiny things, but again, if you don't use them all the time, I just don't understand the culture of getting rid of something you bought 6 to 8 months ago.
I'm still using this until it fully craps out on me. Here's the thing. Unless you're making a huge change, like let's say, oh, the battery now lasts.
Right, yes, that's...
You don't have to charge, even if you use it like I do, you don't have to charge it for a full day.
So for anybody who didn't watch my review of this speaker, this has never been plugged in while it's been in my possession. I bought it in November of last year. I've used it multiple times. I used it to review.
Bluetooth is on.
Turn right on.
It's still working.
I can put it on blast right now. How can this have a battery that's in standby, runs for almost a year at this point, and my phone can't? Because this is not, I mean, granted, it's thicker, but there's a speaker in here.
It's not
like, there's a 2-inch speaker in here.
It's not that we don't like phones with a lot of bells and whistles, Big Smoke. It's just that what we're trying to say is, well, did you mention something earlier about
the screen?
Oh, you mean like a lot of things on the screen, or what?
Just how big it is. It's a big screen. It's a huge.
Oh, I love big screens.
Well, here it's a feature, but it's an off size. It's the thing that they did with the Galaxy and the G6, the LG G6, where it's not standard like 1080p resolution. It's not 16 by 9. It's whatever 21 by 9.
Oh, okay.
So it's got this wide thing. So if you're gonna play a 1080 video,
right,
you're gonna have black bars on the side.
Well, because Big Smoke said if you don't like phones with lots of bells and whistles, you wouldn't like the LG V20. But I like the LG V20.
But that's the thing. That to me was a video recorder's phone. If you are a video producer and you need something that has way more options on a video level in your pocket, that's the way to go. The same thing with the G6. They've got that adaptive microphone thing that you can do where you can move the microphone reception closer and further. Dude, that's amazing.
And I like the LG V20 because of my other two favorite things, removable battery and expandable storage.
Neither of which this has.
Neither of which that has.
And neither of which I think the S8 does.
Here's the thing. S8 does have expandable memory. Here's the thing. I would even get the Pixel, and I would go away from the removable battery if it had the expandable storage. I think expandable storage don't play this game.
But it gives, but you get the unlimited photos.
I get it, but still, I'd rather have
high res, full quality actually.
I'd rather have the expandable storage. But I like the V20. I have no issues with the V20. It's just a damn shame that it's probably going to be gone by the time I want to pay any kind of money for it. the biggest thing to me is if I'm going to buy a phone, especially if you already have it like you,
Yeah.
and it's not going to be a huge difference in performance or anything like that, then what are you giving me? Well, okay, here's the few things I do want. I want a hella long-lasting battery. You
Right.
already have a pretty long-lasting battery.
My
but let's
battery's
be
pretty solid,
serious.
yeah.
But let's be serious. Making it longer wouldn't be a bad thing.
No,
Right?
not at all.
Figure out how to make it longer, okay? If that's the only thing that's left for me, then you add the one thing that maybe you thought originally you didn't want to add is, like, let's say the expandable storage. Yeah, we're offering you 6400 or 28 gig, but let's say it's not just photos I'm worried about. Let's say I don't stream music. Let's say I like to put my own music on the storage device. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Let's say
That's the thing.
Let's
I
say
feel-
I'm going to be on a plane and I can't stream video, but I want to play a movie or something. Well, I can put it on a memory card and play it.
And that's the thing is, I wish that they would consider this the market. Well, it is a more dwindling market that wants to have advanced or not advanced, but additional storage
Right.
and removable storage.
Right.
Because like I would love to be able to throw like how many damn memory cards do I have?
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to throw in like a 6 gig memory
and some
card.
people don't
or
have
8 gig
more
memory
than
card or
just a
whatever.
phone, right? Oh, well, if you're going on a plane, why don't you use like a tablet to watch videos or something? Well, maybe somebody doesn't have a tablet. Maybe somebody doesn't have a
Maybe I
laptop.
spent $1,000
Maybe I
on my
spent
phone,
$1,000 on a
and
phone,
maybe I don't
and
have
that's
money
all
for
I
a
have.
tablet.
And guess what? Yeah, some flights offer in-flight services for Wi-Fi, but what if I don't want to pay that and I just want to have access to
I've
media
got
on
a
my phone?
collection of movies. Why can't I download my collection of movies and watch what I want to watch?
Exactly. So
There are drawbacks. There are drawbacks on a technological level. Like, yeah, is it going to have a beautiful screen? Yes, this has a beautiful
Yeah,
screen. This is going to be a
absolutely.
bigger,
Yeah,
beautiful screen.
yeah.
Is it going to be a great camera? I'm sure of it. It looks like it might be a bigger sensor, which I'm way more excited about because I
Right.
feel like then you would have a lower f-stop. You'd be even better in low light.
oh yeah.
I'm way more
So
excited.
that's the other thing, right? So if you're going to improve tech, okay, the best way to improve cameras is always going to be low light.
Improve low light.
Like, you got great camera
And
when it's lighting everywhere.
what happened-
But what about low light?
What happened to those phones that had the floating lenses?
I have no idea. I don't even remember seeing those.
I forgot which model it was. There was a phone that had... Drew B, if you're still with us. Drew B used to work at a cell phone shop. Drew B, you should remember this. There was a cell phone that came out that had a floating lens. We're going to talk about the iPhone in a minute here. It had a floating lens, cell phone, optical stabilization. Smartphone cameras. And it had like a floating, like kind of like the...
Well, see, you say optical. A lot of cameras have optical. You should say floating lens because.
Okay.
Yeah, just say floating camera lens.
Was it what? It might have been the Nokia. Yeah, I feel like it might. Yep, Nokia floating lens technology. Yep.
So that's why it doesn't exist anymore.
The 920 PureView. The 920 had a ridiculous camera,
Right.
and the stability on it was incredible.
So Big Smoke says a few things here. He says the LG V20 has a big screen and a second screen above that, which I like. I like that.
I do like the little.
I think
yeah.
that's better to me.
But that's like, I mean, that's kind of like this. Like this is the
No,
black
I
and
get it.
the like. I'm gonna close that. Not. Damn it. See, I made it actually light up. But if I double tap my screen, it gives me sometimes. It gives me just a black and white.
Yeah,
like
yeah, no,
black
I get
screen,
it,
white
but
text,
I
super
do
low
like
light.
that. I do like that. I think that's a better feature than, to be honest, the whole like screen wraparound with Samsung. I prefer the thing at the top. It's just easier. You got some apps up there. Click on it, and you're good to go. He also said, let's see here, 5.7-inch main and 0.5 by 3-inch for the other one. Which 5.7-inch I think is a great size. I don't think
Yeah.
you need to go bigger. I think that's big enough for a phone, so that's great. Yeah, he says I have a dedicated micro SD for camera stuff.
Yeah.
He loves the camera, and they're on fleek, like on point.
Yeah.
And I'm sure. I mean, listen, the LG V10 had a hell of a commercial with our one of our favorite actors, Mr. JGL, and he did a whole commercial for them using mainly that camera. So, I mean, clearly they have a great camera. Like, I don't need anything. Really, like I said, I think at that point we're talking low light if it comes to anything else. And then he says, It has a 3200 milliamp battery, but it's efficient enough that it lasts me a day to day and a half with heavy use. So yeah, I mean that's great. Mine doesn't even last half with heavy use.
Mine does the same thing. Mine is the same thing. If I don't really use it, I can
wasn't
go to
that
bed
the
without
Sony
charging
with
it.
the dedicated camera module. Yes, their camcorder has the movable lens, which they still sell, which is amazing. It's basically a gimbal.
There was a.
Oh, was there a Sony phone?
Yeah, what is their phone line? I always forget the name.
no
They have a
idea.
brand name for it.
No
Anyway,
idea.
the Sony Xperia. Yeah, there was an Xperia with a nice lens because that's
Which
the thing.
would make sense because
the
the
Nokias use Zeiss lenses. That's
Oh,
why
okay.
Zeiss and Sony have a partnership that's so deep, like most people forget it exists.
Right. So yeah. So I mean, to me, it's like if you're gonna improve stuff, you gotta give me significant improvements. Performance is not going to be that because they're not making significant performance improvements. They already have the amount of RAM that they're going to have. The speeds are going to be.
You're not going to get. You're not going to get 32 gigs on a phone.
And you already have an 8-core processor, so like you're not going to budge from that. So now what you have to do.
You don't think they're going to put a 12 core in a?
I mean,
phone?
listen. Even if they do, what's the point? I mean, it's not like you're doing that crazy. I mean, the 8 cores clearly do what they need to do.
I mean, yeah, but now we're talking about there are phones that people are trying to get into. I don't want to say modularity. Modularity is still kind of like a touchy subject for most people.
I mean,
but
listen, LG's tried it, but
But I mean, like with what's the word I'm looking for? Like virtual displays, VR, like adding VR features to it.
Listen, I don't know. I feel like I get it because of the whole Samsung and their like you put the on the head. Here's the thing: when I talk VR, dude, I'm very. Like, I don't even care for VR for my computer. And I tried it out at the Microsoft Store, and that was fun.
And he loved it.
That was fun. That was a lot of fun. But at the end of the day, I'm like, to an extent, at the same time, I'm like, dude, it's a phone. Like, to have VR on top of everything else that you're doing on a phone, it's like, what's the point?
That's
I feel
the
like
thing.
that's just a feature, but like that's not a significant feature for me to be like, oh shit, new $1,000 phone.
That exactly is what concerns me every time they're like, oh, there's all this new added stuff. Every time that things get combined and shoved into another package.
Right.
I mean, look at Photoshop. Photoshop added video features. Photoshop added 3D features.
Oh, I know.
And now it's like, where do I get to the tools that I need to edit photos?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
They did the same thing. I mean, why do you think they don't sell TVs with DVD players built in? Why do you think you never had a DVD or a Blu-ray built-in TV? Because when one breaks, the rest of it's broken.
Right. That's why I don't care for smart TVs.
Yeah, and
It's the
that
same
was
reason I don't care for
it's
smart
really the
TVs.
same reason that they don't really sell those a lot anymore.
Yeah.
That's not the move anymore.
No,
It's
and
not
that
it's
shouldn't
not
be
about
the
it's not
move.
about a
I want
UHD
you to worry
smart
about
TV.
giving me good quality screen. I don't care about you
Yeah.
giving me. I have so many devices that can give me the smart aspect. I don't need that to be something.
Well, that's
else
the
that can
thing.
break in my
Keep
TV.
they keep doing the same thing with most technology.
Yeah.
They reach a plateau. So with TVs, it was
Well,
720.
it's like, oh, we got 4K. What do we do now? Oh, let's do the smart aspect. Let's toss that shit in.
But that was before 4K. They hit 1080. 4K
Yeah,
was
but
probably a year out.
That's fine, but smart TV really started coming in with 4K because after 4K, they were like, well, who's gonna like 8K was just a thing by LG.
The 8K. They debuted 8K the same CES where they did 4K TVs.
No, they didn't. It was.
They had an 8K. They had an 8K demo where they were showing
But
off
it
the new
wasn't
4K
when
TVs.
4K was debuted.
No. But like when they've had their 4K like models out.
Right.
Like these are the three
No, I
models
know,
we'll be
but
selling
8K
this
is
year.
still not going to be a thing.
And it was kind of like a big tease because it was like, hey, here's a bunch of stuff we're gonna be selling this year. By the way, here's the thing that's gonna make them irrelevant in 5 years.
Right.
That's the kind of stuff that's dumb. And like the people who, I feel bad for the people who first year out bought $5,000 4K TVs.
Yeah,
and
now
I can
you
go
can-
out and buy a 4K TV for $400.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
$400.
that's why I wait. That's why I'm like, I'm perfectly happy with 1080 until 4K drops in price.
It's to a point like I don't really care about 4K. I don't really. That's why like to go to another topic that we're talking about, like 4K gaming, 4K like the Xbox One X.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care even the One S that has the 4K gaming. I don't care. Is it crispier? Absolutely. Like, do I see a fractional difference when I upgrade a YouTube video to 4K?
Right.
Sure. Yeah, there is a minuscule fractional difference. There's some higher dynamic range. You see some deeper, crisper blacks. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, listen, 4K is beautiful.
But it's like, who cares?
Yeah, but I mean,
here's the thing.
4K is beautiful if
at the size.
yeah,
at size. That's
at
the thing.
size.
That's the thing. If I get a 50-inch screen with 4K, I'm not gonna see that much of a difference on a 50-inch screen because it was the same thing that on if you got a 32-inch TV, that you had a 720 and a 1080, you really couldn't tell the difference. When you went to 40, there was a whole different ballgame.
Right.
Because there was a physical restriction to what you could show on a smaller screen.
I got you.
Like, there's so many actual physical crystals that you could show on. So, like, if you have 5 million pixels and there's only 1,200 crystals, like, you're only going to show that many.
Right. So, I don't know. To me, when going back into the phone, if you're not making a huge change, I feel like now we're getting to the point like, oh, we just need to release a new product to stay relevant.
Yeah,
it's
and
not
that's
like,
all it is. It's
not
relevant.
like,
It's
hey,
just staying relevant.
Check out our badass new performance, our new badass features, our new badass.
That's why
battery
I'd rather.
life.
That's
No,
why I'd
it's
rather
just
not
like,
have a
oh,
new
check
phone
out our
every
phone.
year.
It's so awesome. It's actually exactly the same as last year, but it's
that's
new.
well, that's the thing. I would genuinely shocked. Now, granted, it's like a anniversary year for Apple, but like when they didn't put out a spring release,
Right.
I like lost my mind. I'm like, we've done this for the last 5 years. Like, now it's different.
But so, let's going past the Pixel, because I think we're pretty much done with that. Going into the iPhone rumors again, because there has nothing.
Shout out to iDrop News for the picture.
Yeah, there's no official news from Apple yet. So
of course not. There's no, and I mean, this is all rumors.
This is all
rumors.
rumors. So once again, I mean, what are they gonna do? So they might get rid of a physical button, because I mean that's the next logical.
And I'll
move
be
for
honest
them.
with you, I think that's the dumbest thing.
I always think that's the dumbest.
I
thing
liked
too.
having physical buttons. It took me a long time to adjust to not having
But
a
don't you
physical
still
button.
have a physical button on there?
No,
That's not a button on the back.
no, it's just a
It's just a finger.
just
scanner?
fingerprint.
Okay, well, I mean,
Because even the G3, it lost the front buttons, but
Right.
it had 3 real
Right,
buttons.
right.
I mean, one was just the one I care about, but it essentially was just these 3 buttons.
right,
And there was no front like home button.
right.
Everything on the front was a
I don't.
was
and
a
that's the thing. I don't think
display
necessarily
only.
that's a smart move. Yes, it gives you a bigger screen, and you can kind of mess with that. But at the same time, like I think that's stupid, because if your screen locks up, then you have to rely on that the other buttons do what you need to do.
yeah that you can hard reset it.
Yeah.
That'll actually catch the power button or whatever.
Yeah.
That'll. I mean, there's definite losses. I mean, clearly there's advantages. Of course,
there's always
you're gonna have
advantage, yeah.
tons more screen real estate. It's gonna probably look beautiful. I mean, if it does this thing where you're gonna have the music player on the bottom, then what's the point? I don't
Yeah.
care. Like, you just swipe up and hit play.
Yeah, I don't really care about.
It's
that.
dumb.
I don't know.
The thing I want to talk about, the 2 things. One, the camera bump. I think it's the dumbest thing ever. I thought the 7 Plus or 7 Plus S or whatever. No, there was no S. That was the funny thing. The 7 Plus that had the big camera bump, and if you put it on the phone, it kind of like on the bottom on the table without a case on, it like leans.
Yeah.
And I thought that was dumb because I'm like, someone's gonna put it on a table and crack a lens.
Right.
And I'm sure it happened.
Oh, I'm sure it had.
Now it's an even bigger damn bump.
Right.
And now it's vertical, so now it's not. You have like more
Yeah.
on the lens, so now it's like teetering. I mean, that's the dumbest thing.
I mean, like I said, to me,
Like, why can every other phone keep that integrated? I mean, like, do we need to have like a 12 micron smaller
here's
phone?
thing I will for sure say I disagree with. One, I disagree with not having a auxiliary output or a headphone jack. I disagree with that.
So dumb.
I think no company should get rid of that, because you can't rely on Bluetooth all the time. You cannot.
No. I mean, our car Bluetooth is proof of that.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
both have 2014 model cars.
Yeah.
And both the Bluetooths is bad.
Yeah.
Like,
they always.
it
they
will once in a
always-
while just decide to disconnect.
Yeah.
Or not read, or not hear you one side or the other.
Big Smoke says Apple's copying. I'm gonna butcher this. Zimia. This one.
Xiaomi.
Xiaomi.
Yeah. So what he's talking about is the home button or
Yeah.
the fingerprint reader.
Yeah.
The below screen fingerprint reader.
Well, let's talk about the fingerprint reader real quick. So I think all fingerprint readers should be circular. I think Samsung with their whole like little bar at the bottom like this doesn't make sense to me, Because like one, you're not gonna get my full fingerprint. And if you're telling
and that's why.
And if you're telling me to swipe, bullshit. If this is gonna catch it every time like I want it to.
Well, you're not supposed to swipe, but you are. That's why you move your finger around when you register.
Right, I got you.
Catch different parts of it.
I don't know. To me, I think you do a circular, you get majority of the fingerprint, and you just go on with your life. So I think if any company's ever gonna change anything on a phone physically, make a circular fingerprint, and they should all go standard. Like, it should be a standard thing.
And that's never going to
happen.
It's never going to happen for multiple reasons. The chief reason is that you have
patented design, damn it.
Patented design, exactly. Design. Copyrights, man. When it comes to
suing.
When it comes to at least U.S. copyright law and design variants, two things have to be at least 7 point. This was, now mind you, I will say caveat to this. This was as of 2004 when I worked in a company that created knockoffs of other companies' stuff and vice versa. Right. Your design, whatever your product is, has to be at the very minimum 7 design points different than their design. Yeah. So like, that's like, this was a home decor company, and like we'd put out like a fairy statue or something.
Instead of circular, make it square. Just not rectangular, damn it.
What's their face did that? Motorola did that. Motorola's a square.
Nice.
But that's what I'm saying. Everyone has their own thing, and they have to. They have to keep a difference. I mean, essentially, this phone looks exactly, and sometimes I grab it and I'm like, this kind of looks like an iPhone.
Yeah, I mean,
and like, if I didn't tell you this wasn't an iPhone, you would be like, oh, that's a sweet iPhone.
Yeah, unless you notice that it doesn't have the front home button, like you
right, exactly. So like the differences are becoming so minute. I mean, when Apple tried to pull that whole like we own this patent thing, it was for a wide. It was for like a rounded corner electronic device that could make phone calls. Like, it was the most generic description of a cell phone ever. But like, that's because everyone's trying to make money off of this for essentially selling the same thing year after year.
Here's the thing. For me, here's the thing. I get patents and I get copyright, but like something generic like, oh, it's a circular button that reads fingers. Oh, come on.
Dude, the guy that owns the guy that owns the mouse patent,
right?
It's like a pointing device with 2 buttons. Seriously, that's the thing. These patents are generic for a reason.
Yeah, no, I get it.
To really kind of limit the amount of knockoffs you can get.
I get it. But yeah, so I don't know. Once again, this phone falls under the Pixel 2. I think unless you're making a significant change, which I don't see a significant change.
And you don't think going all screen on the front and a below screen touch fingerprint sensor is like. Do you think?
I think that's a bad decision.
Do you think?
Just like I think
let me ask you a question that I think we've talked about before, and I think I know the answer to. But do you think that is innovation?
No.
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 Well, obviously they're copying another company that's doing it already.
Yeah. I don't think it's innovation.
Here's the thing. So it's
definitely not creation.
here's the flip side of that rumor, right? The one rumor says they're going to have a below screen touch sensor, but the other side of that is that people are saying that technology is not ready yet, that it's not going to work,
right?
And people are saying that it's going to go to a facial rec. I think that's even worse, because people have already tricked the Galaxy S8's facial rec with pictures.
Yeah,
like every time.
No, I got you.
Never fails.
Yeah. No,
so
I mean, rumors are rumors, so we have no idea how far they're going. If they're adding facial recognition instead of, maybe not instead of, but along with.
I mean, like they might have perfected it,
right?
They might have some sort of, because I mean, like the
well, Big
Connect.
Smoke just said facial rec is dated, and I agree. I think it's. Very hard for facial.
In the way it's done on phones, yeah, even in the way it's done on computers, yeah, because it just takes a picture, it checks your picture, but with something like the Connect, because it actually has infrared sensors that detect depth, it can actually sense the curvature of your face.
Right.
So like, if I don't wear my glasses, my Connect won't unlock the system.
Right.
So like, there is technology that can be improved, that can improve that experience, but the problem with that is, can you fit that in a phone?
Do I even want that in a phone? I think if you have fingerprint, that's fairly.
And at the same time, someone could shank you to death, and while you're laying on the ground bleeding out, they hold your phone over it. Cool, thanks.
Yeah, there's that too.
Thanks, bro.
As for phones, it applies for any phone for me at this point. The screens are really well done on almost all phones at this point. Even Marquez says it. You have phones that are even at $300 to $400 that are more budget friendly, but they're still great phones.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
Huawei and Xiaomi. Xiaomi's another one. They are companies that are producing phones that are high quality, low price.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like
Granted,
metal
you're not-
bodies,
right.
but like the thing you're not paying for is the big ass brand on the
Yeah,
back.
exactly. Big ass brand, and sure, maybe like the camera isn't as good as
Sure.
the Samsung camera, but it's still good. Like it's
Yeah.
not great, but it's still good enough where I want to snap a pic, post it on Instagram or post it on Facebook,
Yeah.
whatever it is, or I want to snap a pic to keep it as a memory. It's still going to be
But
a
like
good
this,
enough picture.
but like one of the big sales pitches for the Pixel is like the pure Google experience. But like Huawei and Xiaomi have pure Google, like it's
Right.
base Google with
Yeah.
like I think 1 or 2 productivity apps
Right.
that they add that like help the experience. Otherwise, it's just the same thing.
Yeah,
so
I don't know. For me,
is
unless-
my experience better than somebody who
Right.
has a Huawei phone?
I mean, for
I
me,
don't think
for
so.
me, it's like unless it's a significant experience, if it's if it's a significant change to performance or something that I believe is fairly like low light, as we mentioned, battery life, then yeah, then I would want it. Because for me, I always bitch about battery life. Like there's
Everyone does. We all do.
Let's be serious. I'm shocked how much my new camcorder lasts.
Yeah, that thing's pretty ridiculous.
I'm shocked, and then we saw this, and I'm like, okay, so clearly we know how to give you good battery
the
life.
technology, I kind of want to take this apart.
So you know what the at that point you can't argue to me. Oh well, I mean here's the thing: we know why it's not happening.
To be honest with you, I'm going to take this apart right now.
I mean let's be serious. We all know why it's not happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look at it this way. There were reports going around about 3 years ago about a technology being developed that would make a AA battery last like a year.
Yeah.
Like something dumb. Some
no,
dumb
it was
amount of
some
time.
stupid. Yeah, it was wasn't it a kid too? Like he or she was young, and they made that.
Yeah. They were either high school or like just getting into college
Yeah.
kind of thing. Because SourceFed reported on it.
Yeah.
When SourceFed,
Yeah, it was
RIP SourceFed. By the way,
RIP social. I did see that. Yes, they tried to do the whole nerd source, and then they
Yeah.
changed the bag. I'm glad that she
Yeah.
was able to
They made
explain
it just-
to them why that was a bad choice.
right?
But yeah, so
Okay, I call bullshit on every phone right now.
yeah, because
This is the size of this
yeah, because
battery.
Big Smoke just said biggest roadblock for that stuff is size. Now,
Nope.
granted,
Nope.
that is
No, it's
just-
not. This
now,
is
granted,
smaller than
that
my
just
battery.
Is a Bluetooth with speaker, but still, that has lasted for months.
And it was in standby the entire time since it was never used. And then on top of that,
Now you've used it a few times, and
I
still
used it
turns
outside for like 2 hours
Yeah.
straight and like full blast.
And it still has. Have you still charged it yet?
No,
So
dude,
still not.
that's why that thing's still wrapped.
So
the
that's-
cable still wraps so
That's why I call
perfectly.
BS on anytime somebody tries to give me
Yeah.
an excuse, because where we
I
are
don't know. I think I
with
messed
tech,
this up.
where we are with tech, you can't even argue that anymore. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. That's all I got on the phone part. I don't know if you want to add anything, but otherwise,
No,
unless like I said, unless it's significant.
Besides calling bullshit on batteries,
Yeah,
right
I
now.
call bullshit on a few things, so batteries would definitely be one of them.
Come on, there it is. I turned the wrong way. Yeah, so that's
Here's the thing.
that's it
So
for phones.
Big Smoke said, but it's powering less things. Phone has GPS, screen, cellular, Wi-Fi networks.
Sure, but it's still a twice as big battery. I should get at least
Right.
a fifth of the time.
Yeah.
like
No, absolutely. No, I agree.
if I blast my phone for 2 hours outside, it's definitely going to go down by at least half.
Yeah, I mean, we get where you're coming from, but at the same time, you can't tell me that they can't give you way better battery life than what we have at the current moment.
No,
At the current moment, we have some shit battery life.
because here's the
considering
thing.
how long
Because
we've been
there
doing
are
with
phones that last for 2 days
Right.
straight,
Yeah.
like with use. So like, what's the excuse there?
But that's about it. Let's go on the next topic.
So, the next topic is near and dear to my heart for 2 reasons. Because
Well, one, you already brought it up.
I don't think that anyone should ever, for any reason whatsoever, buy a first generation of anything. That being said, my first generation Xbox One is still working pretty fine.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
It has no issues.
And normally that's not the case. I mean, you're absolutely right. First gen stuff usually has a big problem. But we are going to be talking about the Xbox One X, and if it's relevant. Here's the thing.
Here's my question is, does it matter?
Let me put it this way. It does matter.
Why?
And here's why. Because there is still not, you still cannot. Now, granted, you're not getting full... Okay, let me put it this way. There's still no computer that can run full blast graphics on a video game and run at 60 frames per second.
Nope.
But then again, Xbox is not saying that you're getting full blast graphics at 4K at 60 frames per second. They're saying that you're getting 4K games at 60 frames, but that doesn't mean they're full blast. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean they're ultra setting graphics. The manufacturers could be limited to media settings. It still looks great because it's 4K and shit, but doesn't mean it's at ultra settings where you see every bit of detail.
But no, that's the whole point. The whole point is that it goes ridiculous detail. I mean, this is supposedly a shot from what the new
Forza.
The new Forza. So it looks ridiculous. I mean, like
does
there
look
are
ridiculous,
beans
yeah.
of water.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it
does
looks
look-
insane. Like
So
that
I
looks
will
like
say
a
this-
real
so I
cloud
will say-
cover.
So I will say this. So they're gonna sell it for about, I think, 500 or something like that.
Probably yeah, same price as the first one.
So,
came out.
but they announced it, but I forgot what the price was on the announcement. But I will say it is relevant because they're giving you 4K at 60 frames,
Yeah, $499.
and that's fairly relevant.
But does like here's the thing, like how much? Because what's the frame rate on the Xbox One S? Because it's 4K.
One S?
Yeah, the current one, the
Oh,
white
I
one.
don't- I don't know. You have to look it up. I have no idea if they do 4K on the One S.
They do.
I thought the One S was mainly for bigger screen or bigger storage and all that.
No, bigger storage,
Bigger
smaller
storage and
form,
smaller
smaller
format.
form factor, 4K video and 4K video streaming. Built-in 4K Ultra HD, Blu-ray.
And 4K, video streaming.
Yeah,
Yes, but they're not talking about gaming.
yeah, they are.
No, they're talking about video streaming.
Get out of here.
That is a big difference when you're talking about video streaming and video gameplay. So,
4K entertainment, the 4K streaming, 4K Blu-ray.
yeah, they're never saying gaming.
What?
Yeah, so they never said gaming.
Wait. Are you me right now?
I mean, I'm telling you, it's what the website
Is
says.
Drew B still with us? Because Drew B is real proud of his Xbox One S about his game.
But that just
His
says
four-
video
his
streaming
4K
and,
gaming.
and playing videos.
Because I bought that same sales pitch,
yeah,
man.
but that doesn't say anything about 4K gaming.
Accessories. Where's the spec sheet? You mean like an actual legitimate spec sheet?
Well, I think there's tech specs if you click on at the top. If you go at the top, there was tech specs, I think.
Bundles. Click on any of these things. Games. That's crazy. What's details?
Let's see here. Xbox One S tech specs.
That's madness. I swear on everything. Hold on, let's watch this video real quick. We're gonna get it demonetized up in this bitch.
Well, no, don't watch the video. We don't need to watch the video.
No, I'm not gonna.
I'm looking at the Xbox One.
Slimmer? Hold on. Yeah. 40. It's sleeker. 40%.
It says to watch 4K content. Technical specifications to watch 4K content. Yeah.
Ah, remember when that was gonna be a game?
That was going to be a game.
That was
at
gonna
some
be a
point.
game. And then
But
they
here,
came-
I'm looking at
Ultra
right here.
HD video and Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it was never gaming for 4K.
Damn. So Drew B, if you're still with us, hold on. If he's not still with us, I'm gonna message him right now.
So yes, it is relevant. Now the PlayStation Pro was 4K, I believe.
Right. But it's not as powerful. The
It's not as
specs
far-
are
right,
lower.
The
end.
specs are not as good as the Xbox One X. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is providing you with something that technically you cannot get at the moment. That you can get at the moment with technically PC games. You can get 4K with PC games, but it's very hard. Like, you need some ridiculous amount of hardware to get 60 frames consistent, or an average of 60 frames for 4K on ultra settings. So, yeah, You know, it's not something that. So to say is it relevant? It absolutely is relevant, especially in a package that big with the pricing that they're selling it for.
Right. I mean, at $500, and that's the thing for me is like you're not going to be able to build a 4K gamer.
A lot of people have 4K TVs. They don't necessarily have 4K monitors that are specifically made for gaming or stuff like that. TVs are more.
Yeah. What's a 4K monitor? Let's Newegg.
4K is not cheap. 4K monitors are not cheap. 4K TVs are cheap. 4K monitors are not cheap.
Let's see. 4K monitor. I mean, $350. 300.
I hope so, Big Smoke. I hope you are absolutely right, because
5 millisecond is pretty solid. I mean, $300, $297.
yes, for
24-inch.
Yeah, for 24-inch 4K with 5 milliseconds, sure, but the refresh rate with the hertz is probably 60 hertz. So to get like now some people will argue the fact that necessarily you don't need 100 or 120 hertz or 240.
No, I mean you don't. Most things are made with 60 hertz.
So, but yeah, I mean there are some out there that are 4K that are available.
Does it have 120 hertz? No, 144.
There are 120, 144.
Let's see, 144 4K monitor. I mean, $350.
Yeah, but I'm not buying Yamakas. Yeah, Big Smoke. I hope that's true. I hope Vegas does offer cheap 4K capable hardware. Here's the thing: if I'm playing a game, and even if it's at medium settings or high, but not ultra, and I can't get 60 frames per second, then I don't know what these manufacturers are doing with the hardware that they're releasing. Because, you know, I'm not asking for ultra. I'm not asking for stupid, crazy quality with 60 frames per second at 4K. But at the same time, we have such powerful hardware that there's absolutely no reason for medium to high to not be easily running 60 frames per second.
Right.
And I mean, people are going to say, well, the human eye can't, you know, properly see 60 frames per second. And I'm like, I can always tell when my computer dips down under 60 how the game feels.
I'll be honest, I can't tell if it dips below 60. I can almost always tell if it dips below 30.
I can tell once it's under 60. I can tell by the smoothness. I can tell everything. Even when I'm watching videos. When I'm watching videos on YouTube and I see they rendered it in 60 instead of 30, my eye can catch it before I even have to look at if it's running at 60. So, well. But no, I think it's yeah, I think that the fact that Xbox is releasing a system that's going to offer that is very relevant. Now, here's the thing: $500. Yes, they're releasing 4K gaming.
12 gig GDDR5.
Yes, they're releasing 4K gaming, but I'll never buy the system at $500. So
yeah, no, I mean,
I'll be waiting a bit before I buy it.
Here's the difference.
Here's my biggest problem.
Here's the two things for me.
Let me put this right. They focus so much on this 4K gaming that I'm pissed off because last E3, the main guy said, "Don't worry about it. We're looking to incorporate keyboard and mouse." He said, "Keep an eye on our social media. We're looking to do that." He said that at the last E3 when they announced the One S. And I call bullshit that they just announced the One X.
They didn't say anything about it?
Nothing. Not a damn thing that was mentioned.
Get
I call bullshit on that. I call BS. It's not like it's hard to incorporate it.
I mean, that's an adapter.
Right, that's the one I have, which I'm still not using. I'm not using it because it's not next to my goddamn computer. That's why.
What's this thing? The Zen 4?
Yeah.
You gotta review that thing.
I do. I mean, I love... I enjoy... Listen, I enjoyed it when I was...
2005... Hold on. Microsoft confirms Coming keyboard support on Xbox One games. But mouse input probably won't work, at least for now. Yeah,
I mean, like I said, they confirmed it when they announced the 1S. They said they are working on bringing it in, but it's still not in. Now, I will say this. I am happy that they did incorporate cross-platform.
Keyboard, that's absolutely supported. Develop your interesting keyboard console apps. That's fantastic. But don't be relying on mouse input because it probably won't work. And so if you need a mouse to get past your main menu, you probably won't be able to play your game. Interesting. So, who was this? Trying to see who they talked to.
But regardless,
Parsons.
so they announced the 1X, they announced 4K, but you know, the one thing I was waiting for the longest time is incorporating keyboard and mouse. Now, the Zim 4 is available, and it does a pretty good job. You know, I only did it a little bit with Destiny, the first Destiny. I did a little bit with the first Destiny, and
Right.
you know, overall, once I got it set up, I could still tell it's not as smooth as, you know,
Sure, it's not 100%.
as a PC, but it did pretty good. It did better. I did better than trying to do it with a controller on Destiny.
Right.
So, you know, it was still a good setup. So, you do have options out there, but I think for me, if you were going to announce a new system, especially something like this, you bring that in. I think you give two significant changes, not just like, oh, 4K, and which is relevant, which is great, but I don't give a damn. I don't have a 4K TV. I don't even have a 4K monitor. So at this point, I don't really care. I'm like, yay, great, an Xbox One X is coming out. I'll probably be, when I get 4K fully through my house, the next system will be out. So,
there aren't any more systems hottest. That's the thing. So the thing they're talking about now is not doing these huge console generations.
listen,
Hold on.
here's the thing. I'll tell you, let me say
But
this.
but
If that's true...
but not in the way you're thinking of.
Oh, well.
Not in like actual upgradability.
Right.
In terms of more like cell phones. Gradual upgrades yearly by yearly.
Oh, fuck that. They can do that all they want. I won't be buying it.
And I think all you're gonna end up with there is consoles in trash piles.
Yeah. 100%.
And eBay just flooded with Xbox One
100%.
T's or Y's or whatever the
Yeah.
damn next one's gonna be.
And then going further into that, now granted, you know me, I don't like refurbished stuff or used stuff, but why wouldn't I buy the Xbox T versus the Xbox, you know, whatever comes out the next year? I'm saving hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
Oh, the new system's $500. Oh, on eBay they're selling the old one for $250. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I don't know. I think that's a bad decision. But regardless, I think it's significant. I think it's not significant enough to most people. Here's the thing. To the kids that play systems specifically, they might care. The guys that are in competition, they might not care. I don't know how much they would care. I mean, they might in the sense that it's... I guess it does give them more... 4K technically would give them more real estate, better quality, so maybe that gives them better, you know, better what they're seeing on the screen and stuff like that. So I guess maybe to them it's more relevant, but to me and you, like, we love games, but none of us have 4K TVs or 4K monitors. I'm not gonna go buy a 4K TV
It's
or
not
monitor
necessary.
because I buy an Xbox One X.
It's not necessary. You gotta understand. We passed by a kiosk today at the mall. Yeah, we went to the mall. And they had, you know, a bootleg, probably Android or some sort of
Whatever
Linux,
it was.
whatever
I mean,
it was.
seemed legit.
Essentially,
They got a pretty good box and stuff.
essentially, it was like a bootleg Xbox controller that had a system built in. It was probably some sort of Raspberry Pi system, but it had 7,600 classic games on it.
Yeah.
And I grabbed it and I was like, oh, there's Mario. And I just started playing Mario.
Yeah.
So, like, that doesn't have HDR or 60 frames per second or any
Or
goddamn
4K.
thing.
Shit,
But
or
like,
even
I'll
720.
still play that stuff. There are people who are like, I can't play 8-bit games anymore. I can't play PlayStation 1 games
I can play
anymore.
certain 8-bit games. Like Mario, I can definitely play Mario.
I'll play Mario all the time. I mean, there are certain things, like, if you... I actually never...
Sonic? I'd play Sonic.
Absolutely. But there are certain games that just... You never realize how ridiculously bad they were back in the day.
Until, like
I
Tekken?
did. Oh my god, we played the first Tekken on that
Played the
thing, and
first
it's
Tekken,
like...
that was awful.
It's like... Punch.
Kick.
Punch. Punch.
Kick.
Kick.
Move back and forth.
Bought some new shoes. We went to a mall. And then there was a New Balance store.
That's right.
And my shoes were hurting me. So I
That's
said,
right.
F this noise.
That's right.
And I bought new shoes.
That's right.
But something I was just saying, like, to me, like, I'm looking at, so this is their example of the benefits of HDR,
here's,
right? Can I say,
hold on,
the
here's what Big
HDR
Smoke
doesn't look
said.
as good.
He said,
Or yeah.
He said, I play OG games. We're in high-tech world, but those old games still deserve some love. I agree. I mean, there's
I think
certain
they
old
deserve
games
love,
that
but I
deserve
think
love.
in a lot of ways they're sometimes better. Like, I'd play Sonic to me is a classic. I can play that at any time. Tell you what I'm not going to play. Modern Warfare 3 again, or Modern Warfare 2.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to play through that story again, but I'll play through the Sonic story
Like,
1,000 times.
I played it, beat it, I'm good.
Like, I bought a Nintendo 3DS for, like, you know, brain games and all that stuff, just to kind of, you know, practice it and have fun with it. But then I bought Mega Man Classics Collection, and I started playing Mega Man 1.
Right.
I have, like, all these HD
I know.
ridiculous games.
Right.
Mega Man 1.
Yeah.
Like, it's to me is... It doesn't matter. Like, it's not that... I think it's just... It's becoming more of like a status symbol. Like, oh, I've got a 4K gaming, you know,
And
system.
that's the thing. That's the
Because like I said, looking at this piece, this is like the benefits of HDR. And like, yeah, is it crisper? Absolutely. But it also looks more flat. Like, to me, like, in reality, I wouldn't be able to see the details of the building that's like 3 miles away.
Right.
But like, with the HDR off, there's a bit of a fade. And to me, that looks more realistic.
So what they're trying to say is that it's clearer, so that
yeah,
can
it's
be
clearer and
beneficial.
crisper,
Right.
absolutely. But I just don't... Where are you getting your phone?
She smells like a skunk.
She does smell like a skunk. She, like, I don't know, boxed a skunk or something. A little tiny dog.
But yeah, I don't know how much it matters. I don't know how many of their customers are actually playing in 4K. I'm not saying, like you said, 4K TVs aren't expensive anymore, but how many people are actually playing 4K?
Right.
Or how many people care to pick up the Xbox One X for 4K?
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know.
I
if
just,
that matters.
I don't think it's... I really don't think it's...
To be
it's
honest,
that,
the last
it's, I don't
few
think it's a good
Xbox-
investment.
To be honest, the last few Xbox games that I purchased were on PC. As soon as they announced it that I could buy it on the store.
The Play Anywhere, I'd rather... Because here's what I don't have to do if I want to play Forza and stream it. Hook up an Elgato and figure out how to get all that stuff connected and then record
And you don't
myself
have to
through a
be at
different
home.
camera. Yeah, I don't have to be at home. I could be at his house,
Yeah.
pop it open on his computer.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's installed.
Or on your
otherwise
laptop.
it's 50
Or on
gigs.
your laptop. If you
Right,
have a
or
gaming
if I
laptop.
install it on my gaming Dell Inspiron 14.
Yeah.
If I'm not home, I could do that. And I don't have to be in front of my Xbox.
Yeah.
That's a bigger benefit to me than anything else.
I agree on
Now, granted, with this integration of the original Xbox games, which I would love, and here's what I'd like to say: with saying the original Xbox games are going to be compatible, I'd love to be able to have like, do you remember what the original Xbox like interface was? That like green like.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like clone chamber or whatever the hell you want to call it. Like, I turned it on right before we moved, and I was like, what the hell is on my screen?
God, so long ago, man.
I forgot how the interface looked. And I was like, this is like what people thought the future was going to be like.
Yeah, it was. It was. But here's the thing. There's a significant difference between Xbox, right, the original, and then you go to, what was it, 360, right? And then 360 was good, and I thought for the longest time, like, how do you go past PS3 and Xbox 360, because they were so good at the time, and they really were. But then now you have almost, some games look like a movie. Like Uncharted looks like you're playing a movie.
Yeah.
So where do you go from that? Does 4K really matter at that point? Because if it
Right.
already looks that good.
Right, because like Uncharted 1 already looked amazing.
Oh yeah, Uncharted, the first
and
one.
then
was
Uncharted
amazing.
4 legitimately looks like a movie. And like, at some point, like, You're just
What are
watching
you gonna
movies.
have? Yeah, at some point, what are you gonna do? Have literally, you're gonna be playing a real person. Like it's not anymore gonna be 3D graphics. It's gonna be people graphics.
Right, they're gonna have a heads up display and be like, turn left, turn right, duck. What's the matter? Why you look sad?
So
You tired? You party too hard?
So yeah, so I don't know how significant it really is. I'd have to look at those stats. To me and you, they're not significant. But that's not because we don't love games or anything. That's just because I don't know.
Take your shoes off.
That's just mainly because we don't have.
Jackass. Stop. Oh my God. Stop.
That's mainly because we don't. I mean, maybe it could be because we don't have 4K. But at the
Get
same
her.
time, like I said, I don't know if it matters if I play in 4K. Like the biggest to me that I would care like on PC is if I can at least get.
Stop.
If I can get ultra graphics at 1440. Quiet. So that's like to me it's like if I can get 60 plus frames per second at 1440 I'd be happy. And I'm talking about like the lowest I'll see is 60 frames, you know, like
Yeah.
I am with 1080. So if you can do that, like and right now I'm like I don't care for 4K because you can't guarantee me no less than 60 frames per second.
Right.
With 1080 I can guarantee you that my system will keep running 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
As long as I'm not like doing additional things like streaming, which is an additional strain on the system, I can easily stay above 60 the whole time and play games.
Absolutely.
So unless you give me that, I don't know what the point is of 4K. Like, yeah, it's great visually, but if it's a shitty feeling, like I notice jitters and drops in rates, what does it matter? It's not that important to me.
Right.
Smoother gameplay than beautiful gameplay is a lot better for me. Yeah, that game. I was gonna say. So I bought Forza Horizon on the PC store, and I bought that game on the PC store, and I'm like, why wouldn't I want to? So, yeah, I don't know. Recore. Thank you. Yeah.
Did you play it at all?
Not yet, but I definitely will.
I'm so
and
mad.
Gears of War.
I'm
And
mad
Gears
that
of
I
War.
didn't pick it up when it was $20.
So yeah, I don't know if I care that much. To me, I don't think it's
Forza
significant, but
7.
at the same time, it is significant because they are offering great 4K quality at a stable frame of gameplay.
Watch
so
the 4K trailer.
so they are
Leave the
offering
audio off.
So they are offering that.
Let's bump it to 14. Really? Does it now? Oh, it doesn't allow the 4K to be played on this. It says watch the 4K trailer, but it only has 1440.
So yeah, I don't know. To some people that might be significant, and like I said, it is significant.
All in-game 4K footage. Damn, it's pretty, man. It is pretty. I mean, I have no misconception of how gorgeous it's gonna be, but like, at some point, I just want to play. Like you gotta understand, I still throw in Need for Speed 1.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know. Like, I don't care. Like, it's gonna still look good on my Xbox One. You know, I don't have the Xbox One S, but I don't.
It's
I won't,
jittering because I'm trying to play 1440.
and I won't have the Xbox One X, but I'm sure I'll still be able to buy the game, right?
Right.
So I don't have to play at 4K. Yeah, it's gonna be a great game, but like I said, to me, it's I don't know if it's a relevant thing. Big Smoke.
Still not real life.
Big Smoke. Quiet.
Stop.
Big Smoke said, "I still have my Game Boy Color. I still play lots. Mario, Kirby, all those games. I love them."
Yeah.
And another thing he said, it's giving you that resolution, but what's the catch? High power consumption, thermals. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't imagine it won't get warmer.
It's supposed to be. It's like twice as heavy as the S.
Well, I mean, I'm not
because the
surprised.
cooling's
Yeah.
enormous.
I mean, it has to be. You know, they're pumping out some crazy stuff. I will not be surprised. I will not at all be surprised if you see a bunch of systems at first, the first run of systems, being either not necessarily recalled, but you see a bunch of customers complaining how their system is crashing, or they're getting, that back in the day, the yellow light for the PlayStation, or the circle for the Xbox.
Red rings of death.
So I wouldn't be surprised if you see that with this because of what they're trying to push through that.
I think if they had another heating issue on this system, they would probably lose a good chunk of the market. They would have to make
my problem
incredible deals for the next round.
Here's the thing. If they've been working on this for even before they announced and released the 1S, like let's say a long time.
Yeah, I mean, supposedly it was the same.
And they kept running it, and they had multiples of them, and just making sure nothing was overheating. Then that's fine. But I guarantee you that's not what they did. They had maybe one system, and they were like, "It's not overheating, we're good." Or maybe they worked on it only for the last year and a half.
Well, no, they announced Scorpio at the same time they announced the S.
I know. But have they still,
a year ago?
Right, but they might have announced it. But have they been working on it since then? Maybe they've been working on it before. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, I'm sure they were.
Right.
Because here's the thing: it ended up being almost exactly the same case. So
you can't. Here's the thing: you cannot tell me that you weren't as a company that creates hardware, not just software, but hardware. You cannot tell me that you weren't anticipating bigger power consumption, heat issues. And you didn't work towards making sure that doesn't happen when people get their systems. You're going to be charging $500 for a gaming system. I mean, they call it entertainment system because, it can do more than just gaming. But regardless, you're going to charge this kind of money, and I get that you're putting a lot of thought into it, but you better make sure that your customers are not going to be experiencing thermal issues, because if they end up experiencing that, I don't think that goes well for the company.
Right.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't think Microsoft's, a small enough company that'll damage them, but I think they will definitely, I think that, here's the thing. Here's the problem. I don't think it'll hurt them. Because even if it does happen...
Like, even a little bit?
No, because even if it does happen, at the end of the day, they still, they have that loyal base where people are still going to buy, oh, well, mine fell out, I'll contact Microsoft and they'll replace it. And they might refurbish it or whatever. But at the end of the day, to me, that's unacceptable. I buy a brand new system and you tell me in 3 months, let's say it overheats, well, you're not supposed to be playing on it for 12 hours. Actually, you say that, but I disagree with you. It's a gaming system. If I want to play on it for 12 hours, I want to play on it for 12 hours.
Right. That's the thing, is we...
I remember because I bought a PS3, and mine ended up going bad, and I had to actually go to Circuit City because it was within the return policy. Right. And I swapped it out. I was like, this one keeps freezing out. He's like, well, how long did you play it? And I'm like, I don't know, like 10 hours? And he's like, well, you're not supposed to... I'm like, no. No, that's not an answer.
No, that's absolutely
If I want to sit there and play 10 hours, it better not start freezing up.
Right.
So, but I think they have too much of a loyal base that it wouldn't be a big problem for them. Yeah, people are going to call it out, but I don't think it'll do anything. I don't think it'll change anything.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's an interesting thing to watch, because now, PlayStation already went to 4K. What's the next move for Sony? They own majority of the market, but now the X is going to be the more powerful device on the market. The Pro, they're not going to release another system this year.
No, I think the next move for Sony is just releasing a better Pro, like a Pro S. Some shit like that, like where it's got better
Pro
specs.
Ridiculous edition.
Because I mean, you can't release a whole new system because it goes back to phones. Like you're not going to be releasing anything relevant. All you can do at this point is be like, okay, it's going to have 2 to 3%,
2 to 3% increases.
Because that's all you can really do. I mean, they're increasing theirs, but once again, is the cooling going to be good? Hey, we're offering this.
Right. It's a significant jump, and that's kind of the difference. You have the difference between, let's say, like the Galaxy S3, and then if you want, if the next year you went to the 5.
Right.
Significant jump.
Right, that's a significant jump, yeah.
But like with phones, there was a more gradual thing.
Right.
So, but this is something where they were like, Xbox One, 3 years later, Xbox One S.
Right.
Which was essentially like, let's get you used to this smaller form factor.
Right.
By the way, now, in that essentially same box, like we figured out, it's like...
Yeah, it's like basically...
Like 0.5 of an inch bigger. like longer and wider, not even taller.
Right.
We're going to shove a bunch more hardware in that,
Right.
and then it's got way more power.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know how it's going to play out. Because you're losing a few things, but you're gaining a ton. You're gaining a ton.
I think it's significant in the tech world because what they're offering and for the price they're offering it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to build a 4K gamer.
You're
Let's presume it gives you 60 frames a second
Right.
continuously.
Right.
You're not going to build 60 frames per second for $600.
Yeah, you're not going to
for
build
$500.
So
You're just not.
So in that sense, yes, it's significant.
Plus, it gives you the access to the library
right.
of Xbox One
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
I mean, you just if you have Live, which realistically most people with an Xbox do, you have an like I mean it's the same same thing, but like with on PlayStation, but with the S or with the One X, you now have 4K gaming, top end performance. And this incredible library, which now just doubled.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I'm pretty sure PlayStation does not have PS2 or PS1 compatibility.
From what I understand, they do not.
Like no older games.
Not that I know of. No.
But like certain things have been re-released. Certain things like
Right.
Crazy Taxi and things.
Right, and you can get certain things in digital format, so like Final Fantasy VII.
Also, did you hear that Sega released their completely like sidetrack here? Did you hear that Sega released is in the process of releasing their entire library of old games free on Android?
On Android?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I mean Sonic 1 is out, Altered Beast is out. I think they're putting one out every month.
I mean, that's cool.
Did I
Good
add
on
it to this?
Sega, man.
Yeah, so Sonic 1 and Altered Beast. It's an app that you get. It's called... Where is it?
If you dig around on forums and stuff, there's rumors that Xbox One X was still only upscaled to 4K. And here's the thing. That's fine, but those are rumors. Until Microsoft says that's exactly what it's doing... I mean, that's just somebody saying, "Oh, it's only going to upscale." So at that point, unless Microsoft says it,
yeah, I'm gonna err on the side.
That's like saying, "Oh, the next iPhone is going to be, it's going to hologram everything in front of you." Like that's a rumor, unless
Crazy Taxi,
says it.
Rayman, Sonic Dash. Where is it?
Shenmue.
Let's see. They said everything through. There we go. Sega.
I mean, I have Shenmue 1 and 2 on Xbox.
Let's see what's free.
Exactly.
All apps. All right. So Sonic Dash, Sonic Racing Transform, Crazy Taxi 1, Sonic Jump Fever, Altered Beast, Sonic 2, Comic Zone from Sega, Crazy Taxi City Rush, Kid Chameleon, Crazy Taxi Gazillionaire,
Holy shit, there was that many Crazy Taxi?
Virtua Tennis Challenge, by the way, that's Sega Saturn, baby. Phantasy Star 2. So those are all the ones that are free currently. They've got Sonic 4
But you
episodes.
said they're doing their whole library.
That's what I understand.
That's crazy.
I guess these are apps. Sonic 4,
Right.
or was there a Sonic 4 game?
Yes, there was.
I thought it was free. It might have been. Maybe it's not free yet because those are showing to be $2.99 currently. But yeah, I mean that's their current library. Sonic Dash 2, Sonic Boom free. So you got both Sonic Dash games for free.
Now I gotta download an Android system on my computer.
Oh yeah. See that's what you could do. You could put Parallels on it.
Yeah.
And do Android.
Hey.
It was not perfectly stable when I did it, but I'm sure you can get it working.
But yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts on that. I think it's cool that they're offering what they're offering, but
At the price. I think the price is the
right.
biggest thing for me.
But at the same time, I don't know how many people actually care.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. You said here's Xbox One. 3 years
Like
later,
you said,
here's
it was-
Xbox One S.
Right.
And a bunch of people's like, oh sweet, let me dump Xbox
Right.
One, buy an Xbox One S,
Right.
and then it's like a year later.
Right.
By the way, here's another one. Now,
Here's
how
our
many people?
Scorpio, here's
How many
our
people?
One
How
S.
many people are going to make that jump again?
Right. Exactly.
How many people are
Now,
really are going to game
like
4K?
Well, like you said, there are some people that are whole status things, so those
Sure.
people, of course, are going to pick it up.
Drew B's going to pick one up.
Yeah, absolutely, Drew B. So you know, people do have to have their tech, the new release stuff. But how many actual players, like real, like hardcore, we love playing games, it's not just because it's a new system, are actually going to care to do, especially if the games being released are also going to be available for 1080p Xbox One and Xbox One S users. If they're not limiting the games, then what does it matter?
Exactly. So here's the thing. Are you going to be buying a different physical disc for Xbox One X than you would for the Xbox One?
Here's the thing. During the announcement, they said all accessories, all controllers, and all video games are going to be playable on the One X that are on the One S and the One.
But will they the other direction?
That I don't know.
Because that's the thing. If you're buying a different physical disc, then it might not even pop into an Xbox One X.
Right.
But if it's the same disc, then the rumor of upscaling becomes a little more credible.
That's true.
Because if you're putting the same disc in both,
or
like
downscaling.
Yeah, but if it's
a 4K disc doesn't mean it has to play in 4K.
Sure, but because there is 4K Blu-ray on the S.
I was gonna say because you can buy 4K Blu-rays, but you don't have to have a 4K Blu-ray or 4K TV to watch those Blu-rays.
Correct. You do ever have to have a 4K player, which the S does. The first one does.
Right.
Not. So I mean, it's possible that it might be a case of downscaling, but realistically speaking, I mean, how hard it is to render a 4K video that's X amount of time long on a normal computer, you know, pre-Ryzen, because you know people have been developing for Scorpio for a while.
Right.
How many people are rendering 3 to 6 to 10 hour video games in full 4K?
I mean, I agree. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we'll that'll have to.
But I mean, honestly,
that's something they didn't say. I don't remember them saying that you're going to be able to play those games that come out for that system also on those systems.
Right.
So, and we know Xbox likes to forget about their old systems once the new one's out.
Right.
So, I don't know.
I mean, if they make everything available digitally, if you're able to access the original Xbox library, what I was trying to say earlier is I hope that
for downloading games on console with 4K compatibility, wouldn't the files be bigger? They'd need to have a bigger storage units. Yeah, absolutely, they'd be bigger. 4K obviously is 4 times the resolution.
Right. So if it's a case of downscaling, you would have to have a bigger, like you'd have to have the 1 or 2 terabyte S.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm already trying to figure out how to delete games that I don't even have that many.
Yeah, the 500 was not enough, simply because I was not aware that most games would download and install. That was my biggest issue with the Xbox One, is that the games
when they announced 500
install to the disc.
When both companies announced 500 gigs, I was like, what are you doing? Games are 30 gig files, and if you are going to make us download them just like you did before, what the fuck is the point?
No, in the 360 you didn't have to download them. You could.
In the PS4 you did, or PS3 you did.
Well, right, because they were running off Blu-ray.
Right.
And you had to download them because initially, and this was a change that happened later, the initial system you didn't, like the first run of them, they updated the OS so that you would have to, because they had a ton of issues with loading times.
Right.
Because, like, I played Darksiders on 360. I saw a loading screen, like, twice, and that's because I went backwards.
Right.
Like, going forward in the game, I never saw a loading screen. I talked to a guy at work, because this is when I worked at Target. I talked to a guy I worked with. He played it on PS3. He's like, dude, the loading screens are insane. He's like, how can you stand it? I was like, I didn't even realize there were loading screens. Because he's like, no, it like just dead stops. It says wait, please wait or whatever. And I was like, oh, I'm like, the only time I saw that was when I went backwards twice, like in the other direction on the map where I wasn't supposed to be going.
I'm trying to remember because mine's on PS3. I don't remember.
Because it's a big, because I remember it. It's like a big red screen. It says like please wait.
Yeah, I know what he means, please wait, but I don't remember if that was because I went backwards or every time I entered a door. Like, any time I entered a door for a dungeon, I feel like there was a please wait.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I never had that. I would bust open the door and walk in.
I think you're full of it.
No. I have a 360. We can pop that shit right now. We can pop it in right now, Hans.
Shenanigans.
You call shenanigans?
But yeah, so that's kind of it for that. I just don't like. I don't know. For me, it won't matter because I don't know necessarily.
I'm not gonna be buying one anytime.
If they tell me, here's the thing. They won't tell me because guaranteed the new Forza. Actually, they've already said it. The new Forza that's gonna be 4K for this system is gonna be on the Windows Store, so I can literally get it on my PC and it.
But how does you
matter.
won't be able to play it in 4K?
I know, but it doesn't even matter, man.
I think we're gonna call it there, ladies and gents. Appreciate you, Big Smoke, for hanging out with us as always,
man.
And Drew B, if you're still around,
Drew
thank
B,
you.
I don't think he's around.
Probably asleep. He's got to work in the morning.
Yeah, he's an old lady.
He's an old lady. Yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. We definitely wanted to make sure we got some tech video up for you today. And
what's the best way when talking about new products, right?
Yeah, I've had this subject on my mind for a while.
Well, we wanted to do tech talk stuff like this. You know, I don't know if we're gonna call it tech talk because I know that's what Jay's 2 Cents calls his. Although I think they're done doing it. I don't think they do it anymore.
Sweet, the new home of Tech Talks.
Yeah, the new home of Tech Talk. But yeah, I mean, we love talking about this stuff, and we do have our tangents channel, but we don't necessarily talk tech there. So
no,
here
that's everything else.
Here we can talk. Yeah, that's basically everything else.
We reviewed a soda. Go check it out.
T3G Tangents. T3G Tangents. We reviewed a soda. But yeah, that's pretty much our thoughts. Make sure to let us know what you guys think on everything we talked about.
Absolutely.
If you think phones have a significant upgrade and if there's actually a reason to buy them every year. If you feel that the Xbox One X maybe is for you, or you think there is a relevance on if you know a lot of people are cared that it's 4K or not.
Or would you ever spend $1,000 on a CPU?
Or would you ever spend $1,000 on a CPU? Let us know everything in the description below. And as always,
not in the description, in the comments.
In the comments,
you can't get to the description.
You can't type in the description. My bad. In the comments below, if you like the video, of course, as always, like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
See ya.